It's the starting five. I'm Yaron Weitzman. We are here with a special playoff edition to react to the Milwaukee Bucks comeback Game 5 win in Boston, 110-107. And if you are the Boston Celtics, you are really regretting letting this one go. The Celtics led, I believe it was 14 with just 10 minutes left in the game. They had total control. In the first half, they did what you need to do to play the Bucks and to beat them. They kept their turnovers down, and they prevented the Bucks from getting out in transition. Milwaukee has struggled in the half-court offense this postseason and really all of last postseason too. Their recipe for success is great defense, get a lot of fast break points, and get a bunch of offensive rebounds and basically take more shots than their opponents take. The Celtics did a really, really good job of limiting the Bucks in the first half, and in the third quarter, they built up a bigger lead. The Celtics hunted Grayson Allen whenever they could off pick and rolls and got him on switches. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, they went at him over and over and over. The Bucks played that drop coverage off pick and rolls where they dropped the big guy back into the paint, give up the mid-range jump shots, and Tatum and Brown were more than willing to go out and get those. Also got to give a shout out to Al Horford, who I don't know what he's on right now, but this is insane. That putback dunk had me out of my seat. I was watching the game by myself, and I let out one of those holy bleeps, which, you know, when you say that out loud to yourself, something incredible has happened. The fact that Al Horford is doing this at this age after basically being a mummy for 2 years and taking the year off last season in OKC. It's incredible and insane. It makes no sense, but it's a ton of fun to watch. But entering the fourth quarter, Bucks head coach Mike Budenholzer, the one who fans on Twitter like to chastise for not making adjustments, and I don't think that's exactly the case. And he made a huge one in the fourth quarter, basically brought in Bobby Portis for Grayson Allen, and I think it's fair to say that decision changed the game. Not only did it take away a person for the Celtics to hunt, a weak defender, but Portis finished the game with 7 total offensive rebounds. The Bucks, I believe the number was they rebounded, I have in front of me, 40% of their misses, and they finished with 17 total. That's how they won the game. You saw it later on, especially after the Bucks staged their comeback and Giannis missed that late game free throw. Portis was able to pull that down and get the putback. Bud's decision to go for Portis instead of Grayson Allen changed the game. I think saved the game or gave the Bucks the victory. And given the way this series is lining up, this might be something we look back at and say that ended up affecting who the NBA champion was this season, because it's certainly looking like both of these teams, I don't want to say they're clear favorites, but I don't think any of us would be surprised if the winner of this series goes on to win the NBA title. We also got to give a shout out to Giannis, who the word I always use with him is just relentlessness. It's just the way he plays is relentless. A final line of 40 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists. 16 of 27 from the line. He just puts so much pressure on opposing defenses, even if you think you're doing pretty well. And he's taking advantage. Now, Al Horford was having success on Giannis to start the series. Giannis is starting to dust him now. Grant Williams continues to do a really good job on Giannis, but it's a testament to just how dominant and incredible Giannis is that we can say somebody is doing a good job on him in a game when he drops 40. And then, of course, we got to give a special shout out to Jrue Holiday. He struggled on offense at times. He shot, 9th of 24, which is obviously not great. But he got 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and finished with 24 points and a plus 14. And he made one of the most incredible defensive plays I think we'll see all season. I don't know, in recent memory, that play, the way he stripped Marcus Smart late in the game. It was one of those plays that had like 4 ridiculous plays in one. There was the way he came up on the block, how he held onto the ball after the block, how he was able to throw it off of Smart and keep the ball and keep himself from falling out of bounds by towing the baseline. Just an incredible play. And then the next possession, he strips Marcus Smart again. Marcus Smart, obviously the defensive player of the year. I feel like this is one of those plays where he's now required to hand that trophy over to Jrue Holiday, who is another decoy candidate. Just an incredible game from Jrue Holiday. On offense, it's not always steady. He makes some questionable decisions, forces some things, takes some weird shots, but it's plays like this this is why the Bucks gave up all those draft picks for him last season, and this is why the Bucks were able to win a championship last year, and this is why they are so good. They just, again, the same word, they are relentless. They don't give up. They have guys who are confident, who know their roles, who are able to make plays, and they just have that championship DNA, which I hate using that phrase. I hate it because it's a cliche, and those cliches are silly. And yet when you watch this Bucks team, and I think often in the NBA, when you watch teams coming off championships, you can see a difference in them in terms of how they're able to maintain their composure and keep their cool and make plays down the stretch of games. So now the series goes back to Milwaukee for game 6, and obviously the Celtics are in trouble. They did not want to have to play in Milwaukee in a win or go home game. Obviously they can win there. These teams we know now are really, really evenly matched. But the Celtics really let one get away here, and I'm going to be curious to see how they're able to overcome and rebound from this loss, because they certainly need to make a bunch. If they don't, a season that looked like it could end up in a possible title run could wind up having the Celtics exiting the playoffs in the second round. That's your starting 5. I'm Yaron Weitzman. Be sure to keep your eyes here for our weekly videos, and also check out our recaps to these great playoff games. We'll be here regularly as the postseason continues.